The kids would all gather at the ballpark, and we'd stay there all day. None of us went home for lunch. We just kept playing. My love for the game was ingrained in me. Well, when I first began, there were very few Jewish athletes of note. Most of the famous athletes were boxers. There were some baseball players, but back in the early 20s, there were many Jewish players that I understand. They changed their names to a more American-sounding name. The first person who ever signed a baseball contract to play professionally and get paid for it was a fellow named Pike, who was a Jew. Some people grew up they weren't actually anti-Semitic. We were different. They thought we were different. They had learned that as a kid. In the early 50s, the third base was over on the same side as the dugout, the White Sox dugout. And somebody was on me pretty bad from the dugout. And I kept looking in, I couldn't find who it was. And I finally had enough along about the 6th or 7th inning. And on my way back after the inning was over, I made the detour toward their bench. And I challenged whoever was making those comments to come on out and let me find out who it was. In 1969, the Indians had fallen on hard times. Once Bill Veeck left, the various management groups weren't able to really put together the kind of team to excite the fan base in Cleveland. And the attendance went down and the interest in the club went down. And George Steinbrenner was a very fast-rising young man in Cleveland, business-oriented, very well-known, and decided he wanted to buy the Cleveland Indians from Vernon Stouffer, who then owned the club. Vernon Stouffer of Stouffer Foods, which is a well-known food brand. And we thought we had a deal. In 1969, we had a handshake from Vernon's son. There was a deal, but Vernon, at the last minute, called us. I was in George's office, and said the deal was off. So that deal fell through back in early '69. There are a lot of very talented players out there, and I think that this fella Kemp with the Dodgers is just an outstanding three-tool player that has Hall of Fame written all over him. I think Ryan Braun, Ian Kinsler, Euclid, three Jewish names, obviously. I root for them, watch them. I enjoyed being the general manager of a club, and particularly when I was general manager at the Giants, because Bob Lurie, who was a great owner, owned the Giants at that time and gave me complete free reign. He resigned as president, made me president and general manager, gave me complete reign of running the ball club, doing what I wanted to do. His only admonition to me was, he said, if you ever sign a player for a lot of money, I'd like you to call me first, so I don't read about it in the paper. And I thought that was a fair assessment. But I had free reign. I was able to run the club, choose my manager, choose my coaches, had a great relationship with our manager, Roger Craig, who did a tremendous job for us. And we were very fortunate to have some great young players come along. We put together made a lot of deals and put together a club that had gone from being in the cellar to playing in the World Series in '89. Those were my happiest moments. Of course, there's nothing like riding in an open car after winning a World Series